day 4 sessions. Now the first session is by Mr. Syed Shakib Garu and gold medalist of JSS University in M Pharmacy. And now I would like to invite Syed Shakib sir to take over the session. Thank you. And I request you all, if you have any doubts, please post in the chat box. At the end of the session, the doubts will be clarified. Then there is a small announcement, and today afternoon at 2 p.m. again second session will be there as usual. Okay, thank you. Now I request Syed Shakib sir to take over the session.
Thanks, madam. Thanks for the introduction. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it's audible, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, it is audible, sir.
Thanks, Kiran. So without wasting the time, already Jyoti madam has introduced, and in the previous session also I had given my brief introduction, so I don't think again it's required. So I'll be sharing my screen. Today we'll be talking about two topics, which are chemical classification codes of NDA and what are nutraceuticals and its regulations. So let me know once you can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So hope you all know what is NDA and where it will be filed, right? So NDA is a new drug application which will be filed to the FDA, US FDA, once we have the positive results of all phase 3, like phase 1, 2, 3 results, which are conducted on humans. So once we have the positive results from the all phase 3, and then this NDA will be filed for the FDA in order to do the marketing of the drug. So the today's agenda is like what is NDA, and then what are the goals of NDA, what are the different phases of NDA and the classification codes of NDA, and followed by the question and answer sessions. So new drug application, which is, as I told, which will be filed to the United States. So it acts as a vehicle in the United States through which the drug sponsors formally proposes to the FDA and approves a new pharmaceutical product for the sale and marketing in the United States. So once you submit this new drug application to the United States, there are multiple rounds of verifications, and multiple teams will cross-verify the applications. Once all the requirements are passed, and then this will be approved based on the requirements, so that the pharmaceutical product can be sold and marketed in the United States. So coming to the goals of NDA, so the major goals are like NDAs are to provide enough information to permit FDA reviewers to establish the following. So the goals of NDAs are like whether is the drug safe, is the drug is safe and effective in its proposed use, and do the benefits of the drug outweigh the risks. So in order to sell the pharmaceutical product or the drug in the United States, so before we should know what the safety and effectiveness of the drug. So here they'll be checking about the safety and effectiveness, and whether the pharmaceutical product or the drug gives any risks to the patients who are taking the drugs or not. So it will be checked. So whether first they'll check about the safety. And the second goal is the drug proposed labeling appropriate and what should it contain? So labeling means like package insert. We have two types of label. The one label is like which is pasted on the product. Like if you see the syrup bottle, so label will be pasted on the bottle. So there you'll be knowing what is the composition of the drugs which are available in the pharmaceutical product, and from where it is manufactured, and who is marketed, and expiry dates, that and all will be in the outer label. So another label is like a package insert. So package insert, if you have hope you have seen when you are purchasing any like tablets or which are in like carton boxes, or in the like suspension box. Usually it comes in suspension boxes. Like in the carton box, there is one package insert where you find all the informations, like what are the indications of that pharmaceutical product, what are the mechanism of pharmaceutical product, and who it is marketed, and what is the marketing number, marketing authorization numbers, everything which will be included in the package insert. Whether the sponsor has given proper information in the packaging insert or not will be checked here. So the third one is like, are the methods used in the manufacturing which are compliance with the good manufacturing practices or not, whether the drug and control used in the used to maintain the drug's quality adequate to preserve the drug identity, strength, quality, and purity. So in each and every steps when you are manufacturing the drug product, so you have to be compliant with the good manufacturing practices in order to maintain the quality of the drug and the purity of the drug. So if you follow the GMP, obviously it will be maintained. So no other pharmaceutical companies will be like given permission to manufacture without this GMP practices. The next goal is the documentation required in an NDA is supposed to tell the drug's whole story, including what happened during the clinical tests, what the ingredients of the drug formulations are, the results of the animal studies, how the drug behaves in the body, and how it is manufactured, processed, and packaged. Here, like the entire documentation of in an NDA describes about the entire story, like what the results of clinical tests has given, and what are the formulations and the formulas and the manufacturing methods which are used in the formulations, and what are the results of animal studies when they have done the preclinical studies before to the clinical trials, how this mechanism of the particular drug behaves in the body, and how the this manufacturers has been processed, and the packaging, in which method they have used packaging. This and all will be discussed in the NDA. And once you have approval of an NDA is obtained, the new drug can be legally marketed starting that day in the US. Once you have the approval from the FDA, so you can easily market and sell the drug in the US. Submitting a new drug application to the FDA and to the other international agency requires meticulous and well-indexed, comprehensive, and readable prepared document. So in order to file the NDA in USA, so you should follow, the applicant should follow US requirements of Food, Drug and Cosmetics Act and Code of Federal Regulations, which are CFRs, and also the ICH guidelines. In order to market or obtain NDA in European Union, so the applicant should follow the European directives and ICH guidelines. So these are the goals of NDA. So in 2008, since January 2008, the FDA in cooperation with the ICH, they like NDAs are submitted to the FDA in an ECTD format. So as you all know, ECTD has 5 modules which are following the ICH M2 and M4 guidelines. So in the next slides, we'll be discussing about the in details about the ECTD. So there are 3 phases of NDA, which are paper NDA and NDA in CTD format and the ECTD format. So olden days, like before to the ECTD, they were following the paper NDA and NDA in CTD format, where the paper NDA, the applicant has to go and submit to the particular health authority, which is FDA, in person. So it will be not going through any other electronic method. So in detail, we'll be discussing in these slides, like what is paper NDA. According to the 21 CFR regulations, all the documents required for the submissions of an archival copy and review copy with the optional field copy. So here, what are the contents and for the archival copy and review copy? So in paper NDA archival copy, it's a complete copy of an application submission and was intended to serve as a reference source to the FDA reviewers to locate information not contained in the section of the review copy assigned to them. So here in the archival copy, it's like it's a reference source for the reviewers, whoever will be reviewing in the health authority. So it will be giving the outlines, like what are the details we have provided in this archival copy. So for the review copy, an application was divided into 5 or 6 sections containing the technical and scientific informations, and the review copy was separately bound. So the archival copy is a separate document, and the review copy is separate document in the paper NDA. So where in the review copy, the sections are divided into 5 to 6 sections, and it contains all the technical and the scientific informations, like starting from the forms, cover letters, and technical data like quality information, drug substance information, everything. So it is separately bound. Both are bounded separately. Coming to the regulations which are followed. Coming to the regulations which are followed during the submission of paper NDA are GMP regulations, GLP regulations, which are good laboratory practices, good manufacturing practices, labeling regulations, good clinical practices, whether all the clinical trials are conducted according to the good clinical practices, and what are the laboratory requirements are there conducted according to the good laboratory practices, and prescription drug advertising regulations, regulations on making changes in applications, and regulations on the reports to the local and state federal environmental impacts laws. So these are the regulations are followed. So in detail, the what are the details are required in the required information in NDA. A review and archival copy, each containing copy of volume 1 with contents of like cover letter, application forms. So the cover letter that confirms agreements and understanding between the FDA and the applicant. So in cover letter, the applicant will be giving the details like what is their study number, and for what it is indicated, this particular drug formulations, for what disease it is indicated, and whether this has the orphan drug designation or not, whether it is a pediatric formulation or not. So all this information, whether the how many patients are recruited during the trials, and everything will be included in the cover letters. In application form, which is 356H, will be filed in an FDA. It serves as a cover sheet for the application, contains basic identifying information about the applicant and the drug product. So in 356H form, so only the basic details of the applicant as well as the drug product will be given. Applicant details are like who is the applicant, and where this manufacturing unit is located, and who is the marketing marketing authorization applicant, and like what are the details of the drug product, and the strengths and stability data will be given here. And also it contains an overall summary of the components to be included in NDA. FDA Form 33397, which users fee cover sheet, should be included in first volume. Like user fee ID numbers can be obtained from the FDA Central Document Room. Financial disclosure forms will also be required, like Form 3454 must be completed and included in the review copy, and department certification statement should also be included. So if the person signing the application does not reside or have the place of business within the United States, the application must contain the name and address of the representative agent or authorized official who resides or maintain a place of business within the United States. So in this case, like if a manufacturer is manufacturing in India and his product need to be sold in US. So in this case, so a manufacturer, if he's not able to move to US or he can't stay in the US, in that case, what manufacturer can do is like he has to nominate a person, a representative agent in US who has a what do we say, like official or who is authorized to stay in US. So in that case, he can nominate and make him as a representative agent in order to do the marketing as a marketing authorization applicant. So FDA 356 form, it contains 3 items. On these applications were bound to be bound together in a single volume, and items 4 to 12 were submitted in a separately bound volumes in order in which they are listed. So first 3 items are bound separately, and other 4 to 12 items are separately bound and will be divided into 2 volumes. Patent information on the applicant's drug and the patent certification with the drug were submitted separately and were attached to the application form. In the item 13, patent information of the applicant drugs will be given and the patent certification details will be given in the item 14. So the next phase of NDA is CTD format. So as you all know, we have 5 modules where in the like module 1 talks about the administrative information and prescribing informations. In module 1 also we have closely like 30 subsections. So where we'll be giving all the details like forms, cover letters, administrative informations, contact information of the applicant, and address of the corporate office in case of any changes in the sponsors. So in detail, it's a huge document. If you want, you can refer through following the USFDA websites. And the second module is quality overall summary, where we'll be talking about the non-clinical overview and clinical overview, non-clinical summary and clinical summary. So the first part is will be considered as a not part of the CTD since it contains all the administrative details. So it's a non-part of the CTD. So module 2 to module 5 will be considered as a common technical documents. In module 3, which is the quality module, which is a main and it's body of the CTD. So here in the module 3 will be details will be given about the drug substance, about the drug product, which is a drug substance is like which comes under the 32S, and the drug product which comes under the 32P. And also we have the regional information which are 32RS, and also we have the methods for validation packaging. So in module 3 we have separate subsections for the drug substance and the drug product, where we'll be giving about the details about general information of the drug substance, what are the nomenclatures of the drug substance, structure of the drug substance, and who is the manufacturer and what are the manufacturing methods, description of manufacturing process. So everything will be detail we have to give in the module 3. And coming to the module 4, which talks about the non-clinical study reports, and module 5, which talks about the clinical study reports. So all the clinical data will be given in the module 5. So this is about the CTD format. So so what are the benefits of CTD? So to provide a common format for the preparation of technical documentation that will be submitted to the regulatory authorities. So the second possible benefits is like a possibility of simultaneous filings in the ICH regions. So simultaneously you can file the same same application in the different regions, and it reduces the time and resources needed to the compile and eliminates the extensive work of the rewriting and converting the dossier for the different regulatory submissions. And it also helps for the regulatory reviewers, and communications within the applicant will be facilitated by the standard document of the common elements. Exchange of regulatory information between the regulatory authorities will be simplified. So the main thing is like here, it mainly paper NDA is, we can say it is a time consuming, and whereas the CTD document is a CTD method, it reduces the time and resources also, and it will be in a common format. So in the paper format, you can say like, as a human being, we can like misplace the documents while compilation, but in the CTD format, so all the documents will be all the subsections contains the specific information about the applications or the details whatever will be filing in the CTD format. So coming to the eCTD, so this is the third phase of NDA. In May 2001, the eCTD process was agreed by the ICH, and electronic documents that bypass the control of the electronic fields described in the 21 CFR Part 11. 21 CFR Part 11, which talks about the electronic signatures, which contains where we can do the electronic signatures in documents, whereas in the paper format, the applicant, whoever the applicant is there, they have to do the signatures by the ink. So here, following the 21 CFR Part 11, so the signatures will be done by electronic method. The eCTD is an XML catalog with links to the actual files in the CTD submissions. The main role of the eCTD is to provide the ability to transfer the CTD from the industry to the regulatory authority. There are multiple gateways where you can do the submissions through the different gateways. Like each and every company follows the different submission process, like while doing the eCTD submission. For example, I can say like in our company, we are following the electronic submission gateway. Through that, this CTD application will be sent to the regulatory authority. The elements defined in the specification of the step 2 eCTD for the testing. So here we have three different formats, like XML based backbone, directory structure, and the file formats. So all the documents, whatever we are uploading in a eCTD structure, should be in a portable format, like a PDF format. And if you are uploading any images related to the manufacturing equipments images, when you are filing in the subsections of like manufacturing methods and the manufacturing equipment details, in that case all the pictures should be in the JPG and PNG formats. Directory structures, it defines the physical folders of the files and follows the hierarchy of the CTD. The XML based backbone defines the overall structure of the submission. XML plays a very important role in the eCTD submission. Like it talks about the complete structure of the submissions. The one XML, if you are giving to the regulatory authority, the entire data will be pulled out in their own tools. So coming to the classification codes of the NDA. So the main purpose of the NDA codes is the new drug application classification code assigned by the Center for Drug Evaluation and Research to an NDA based on characteristics of the product in the applications. This code was previously referred as a chemistry classification code. The purpose is like mainly to review for the CDER, which is like Center for Drug Evaluation Research, to an NDA based characteristics of the product. So there are 10 types of classification codes. So the first type is like new molecular entity. Second one is new active ingredient, and third one is like new dosage form. Type 4 is new combination. Type 5 is new formulation or other differences. For example, new indication, new applicant, the new manufacturers. Type 6 is new indication or claim when we have same applicant. Type 7 is previously marketed but without an approved NDA. Type 7 is like prescription drug to the over-the-counter medicine. Type 9 is new indication or claim, drug not to be marketed under type 9 NDA after approval. Type 10 is new indication or claim, drug to be marketed under type 10 NDA after the approval. So in detail, we'll be discussing in the coming slides, like what is type 1 new molecular entity. So as we discussed, there are 10 types. So type 1 talks about the new molecular entity. A new molecular entity is an active moiety in a radiopharmaceutical which has not been approved by the FDA or marketed in the United States, is classified as new molecular entity. So it means like it should never been approved by the FDA or marketed in the FDA, so which will be considered as a new molecular entity. A type 1 NDA is for the drug product which contains the new molecular entity. A new molecular entity is an active ingredient that contains no active moiety that has been previously approved by the agency in an application submitted under Section 505 of the Act, or has been previously marketed as a drug in the United States. As I said in the previous point, like it should never be marketed or it should never be approved by the FDA. So that type of drug substance will be considered as a new molecular entity. So this type of new molecular entity is called as a new molecular entity, which comes under the type 1. So type 2 is a new active ingredient. So new active ingredient is type 2 NDA is for the drug product that contains a new active ingredient but not an NME, new molecular entity. A new active ingredient includes those products whose active moiety has been previously approved and marketed in the United States, but whose particular esters, salts are non-covalent derivatives of the unmodified parent molecule has not been approved by the agency or marketed in the United States. Like if you are adding like multiple active ingredients to the same product, so in this case, the type 2 will be used. If the active ingredient is a single enantiomer and racemic mixture containing that enantiomer has been previously approved by the FDA or marketed in the United States, or if the active ingredient is a racemic mixture containing an enantiomer that has been previously approved by the FDA or marketed in US, this type of NDA will be classified as a type 2 NDA codes. So type 3 is a new dosage form. Type 3 NDA is for the new dosage form of an active ingredient that has been approved or marketed in the United States by another applicant, but in the different dosage forms. So say for example, so pharmaceutical manufacturer A has approval for the same active ingredient for the same product in an solid oral dosage form. When a B manufacturer is proposing for the approval the same drug but in the different kind of dosage form. Say for example, A manufacturer has a solid oral dosage form approval and B manufacturer is proposing for the liquid oral dosage form. So in this case, type 3 will be used. Type 4 is for the new combination. Type 4 NDA is for the new drug combination of 2 or more active ingredients. So whenever we have 2 or 3 more combinations, so in this case, the new combination will be used. A new physical combination may be 2 or more active ingredients combined into a single dosage form or 2 or more drug products packaged together with the combined labeling. Coming to the type 5, which is a new formulation or other differences. For example, new indication, new applicant, or the new manufacturers. Type 5 NDA is for the product other than the new dosage form that differs from the product already approved or marketed in the US. The product contains an active ingredient or active moiety that has been previously approved or marketed in the US only as a part of combination. The product is a duplicate or a drug product by another applicant, whereas the same active ingredient is there, same dosage form, or same or different indication or same combination. Like, for example, like whenever the new formulation, we make changes in indication, like there is a different use other than the previously approved, or the different applicant is proposing for the approval or the new manufacturer. So in this case, the type 5 will be used. Coming to type 6, new indication or claim are same applicant. So type 6 NDA was used for the NDA received prior to July 27, 2009 for a drug product that duplicates a drug product already approved or marketed in the US by the same applicant, except that it is intended for the new indication or claim. Like the same product is already approved by the US FDA by the same manufacturer. Like in case if the manufacturer has identified the another new indication, so in this case applicant can file the NDA in type 6. Like we have already have the approval for this product as the same applicant, but we have identified the new indication. So in this case, the applicant can be file the application under type 6. So type 7 talks about the previously marketed but without an approved NDA. So type 7 NDA is for the drug product that contains the active moiety that has not been previously approved in an application but has been marketed in the United States. This classification applies only to the first NDA approved for the drug product containing these active moieties. Like it is previously marketed but without an approved NDA. So there are some like special cases where the drug is marketed due to some emergencies with the approval, but without an approved NDA. In this case, we can file under the type 7. So coming to the type 8, which is like prescription to the over-the-counter medicine. So type 8 NDA is for drug product intended for the over-the-counter marketing that contains an active ingredient that has been approved previously or marketed in the United States only for dispensing by prescription. A type 8 NDA may provide a different dosing regimen, different strength, different dosage form, or different indication from the product approved previously for the prescription set. Whenever you are changing like this pharmaceutical product from the prescription to the over-the-counter medicine, in that case, we can file under the type 8. So coming to the type 9, which is like new indication or new claim, drug not to be marketed under type 9 NDA after approval. Type 9 NDA is for the new indication or claim for the product that is currently being reviewed under different NDA as a parent NDA, and the applicant does not intend to market this product under the type 9 NDA after approval. Whenever this type of applicant, whenever this type of application is filed and which is currently under review by the different NDA, so that time we cannot do this. Type 9 NDA is submitted as a separate NDA so as to be in compliance with the guidance for the industry on submitting separate marketing applications and clinical data for purpose of the assessing and user phases. Type 10, so which is new indication or claim, drug to be marketed under the type 10 NDA after approval. The previous one is like not to be marketed under the type 10. So type 9. So type 10 is like to be marketed under type 10 NDA after getting the approval. So type 10 NDA is for the drug product that is duplicate of a drug product that is the subject of either a pending or approved NDA, and the applicant intends to market their drug product under this separate type 10 NDA after getting the approval from the FDA. NDA is normally for the drug product that has a new indication or claim, and it may have labeling and a proprietary name that is distinct from that of the original NDA. Whenever new indication is there, and in that case, after getting the approval from the health authority, so drug can be marketed. So this is about the different codes of chemical classification codes of the NDA. So here we come to the end of the chemical classification codes of NDA. In case of any questions in this particular topic, please let me know. Any questions?
I request the students, if you're having any doubts, you can post in the chat box or you can ask directly to the head.
Okay, I take it as no. So moving ahead, another topic.
Okay.
History of food and nutraceutical regulations. Hope the screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
So the next topic is, what is the history of food and nutraceuticals regulations? So in this session, we'll be talking about what is nutraceutical, what are the examples of nutraceuticals, what is functional food, what are the classification of functional food, what is the history of functional food in India, and what is the licensing and registration system for nutraceutical under FSSAI, import process of nutraceutical and food in India. Coming to the nutraceutical, what is nutraceutical? Nutraceutical is a portmanteau of it's a combination of nutrition and pharmaceutical. So this combination of nutrition and pharmaceutical combinedly called as a nutraceutical. So this term is coined by the Dr. Stephen L. DeFelice in 1989. Nutraceutical, they have the physiological and health benefits just like the pharmaceutical, whichever we will be using as ethic medicines. This is not a complete diet, but just a dietary supplements. Nutraceuticals. Nutraceuticals are this provides in the measurable quantities, like in unit quantities. Nutraceuticals are those products in which the ingredients specified in Schedule 6 in Food Safety and Standard Regulations in 2016. Coming to the classification of nutraceuticals, we have two types of classification, which is traditional classification and the non-traditional classification. So under each category we have subsections, subcategories like as you can see, traditional classification. Traditional nutraceuticals again have 3 types, which are chemical constituents and probiotic microorganisms and nutraceutical enzymes. For examples for chemical constituents, like we have nutrients such as vitamins, amino acids with the nutritional functions, and herbals, and also phytochemicals. In probiotic microorganisms, they are like transforms the toxic flora of intestine into a host-friendly colony of Bacillus bulgaricus. Examples like lactose, which is intolerance prevented by the beta galactosidase enzyme. The third category of traditional nutraceuticals are like nutraceutical enzymes, which are hemicellulose enzyme and pancreolipase. Usually we will call it as a pancreatic juice. So even this pancreatic juice is also considered as a nutraceuticals. So the next category is like non-traditional. So under non-traditional, again, we have 2 types: fortified nutraceuticals and recombinant nutraceuticals. So fortified nutraceuticals is like which is obtained from the agricultural breeding or added nutrients or ingredients, and recombinant nutraceuticals like food achieved through the biotechnology or genetic engineering. For example, for recombinant nutraceuticals is like such as breads, alcohol, and vinegar. And for fortified nutraceutical, example is like orange juice fortified with the calcium or added vitamins in a folic acid. So this is the brief classification of the nutraceuticals. So example of nutraceuticals is like antioxidants, for example, carotenoids, ascorbates, and lipoic acids. Dietary supplements like energy drinks, energy bars, and fortified dairy products like milk, yogurt, powdered milk, and cheese. For citrus fruits, we have lemon, orange, and grapefruit. Vitamins A, B, C, D, E, and K also considered as a nutraceutical, and also minerals. And also we have herbals, glucosamine from ginseng, and omega-3 fatty acids from linseed, and lycopene from the tomato. So these are the common examples of nutraceuticals, which will be obtained from the natural foods. So obviously we'll be having a question mark in our mind, like whether nutraceuticals is a drug or not. So what exactly this nutraceutical does? So we can say like drug is like which claims to prevent, treat, cure a human diseases. Usually the pharmaceutical drugs which treats the diseases which are in the human beings. So whereas in the nutraceutical products cannot make these claims. We cannot give 100% assurance like it prevents and cures the particular diseases in the human beings. So this is the major difference about the nutraceutical and pharmaceuticals. So nutraceutical will be not called as a drugs. So coming to the functional food. Functional food is a food where a new ingredient has been added to the food and new product has an additional function. Whenever we are adding a new ingredient or a new product, it gives the additional functions. So this is called as a functional food, and functional food is a generic term for the food that has been linked to the health benefits. Functional foods are the foods that offer health benefits beyond their nutritional value. In addition to the nutrient-rich ingredients like fruits and vegetables, the category also includes like foods fortified with the vitamins, minerals, and probiotics and fibers. This functional food claims to have an additional function by adding a new ingredients or more of the existing ingredients. Usually these functional foods by adding this one or the other things to it, so it provides a more additional functions with the health benefits. So coming to the classification of functional food. So previously we talked about the classification of nutraceutical. So here it's a what is the classification of functional foods. So as you all know, like easily we can, by reading itself, we can identify what exactly it does. So we have different types of functional foods, like antioxidants, prebiotic foods, probiotic foods, symbiotic foods, and isoflavones, phytosterols, anthocyanamines, fat reduces foods, sugar reduced foods, salt reduced foods. So these are the classifications of the functional food. So what is the history of food regulations in India? So we talked about the nutraceuticals and the functional food in the previous slides. So now, what is the regulations and history of the food regulations in India? So in India, like we can take it as India is the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables in the entire world. So by mid of 1990s, the food processing sector laws were framed in veritable grid of regulations, including a multitude of state laws and as well as the following national laws. So there are several laws which are passed, like Export Act in 1963, like in order to have the quality control and inspections. And the next one is like Solvent Extracted Oil Control Order in 1967. In 1968, we have Insecticide Act. In 1973, we have Meat Food Products Order. And 1954, we have Prevention of Food Adulteration Act rules. With latest amendment